In this video, I want to talk about qualifying relatives and the five-part test to determine if someone qualifies. Before we talked about qualifying children, and that was a six-part test. And if a qualifying child, or rather a child, did not meet the criteria to be considered a qualifying child, they could become a qualifying relative based on this five-part test. Now, just like the qualifying child test, a qualifying relative must meet all five of these tests in order to be considered a qualifying relative. If they fail any test or any condition within each test, they are not a qualifying dependent and cannot be claimed as such. So the first of five is the relationship or member of household test. So the individual must either be a relative of the taxpayer or a member of the household. A list of qualifying relatives is broad, but it includes parents, grandparents, children, grandchildren, siblings, aunts and uncles by blood, nephews, nieces, in-laws, and adopted children. Foster children may also qualify in certain circumstances. If the potential dependent is a more distant relative, additional information is available at www.irs.gov. There's plenty to read here. For the example, cousins are not considered relatives. All right, so next step is gross income test. All right, so the individual cannot have gross income equal to or above the exemption amount. So for 2021, that was $4,300. So $4,300. If this person makes $4,301, they don't qualify. If they make $3,800, they can qualify. All right, so that's how that test works there. Though the IRS is no longer using the exemption amounts, these amounts are still used for the purposes of these tests. The third is the support test. A dependent must receive over half of his or her support from the taxpayer or a group of taxpayers, which is called a multiple support agreement we'll talk about in a second. Unlike the gross income test, income exempt from tax and earned by the potential dependent is considered for the support test. All right, so let's put here, must receive I before E, except after C, over half support. All right, the book goes into a little bit better detail here, but this is the gist of the test. Joint return, same as the qualifying child test. A dependent must not file a joint return unless it is only for a claim of refund of taxes. So only for claim of refund. And last, but certainly not least, the citizenship test, which is going to be identical to the conditions set above in the qualifying child example, or video rather. In the event that you have a dependent, so let's talk about the multiple support agreement here. The multiple support agreement would be this situation here. Let's say you have a parent. All right. They meet all these tests here, and they have three children. So we're going to go children A, B, and C. Alan, Brian, and Cody. All right. So Alan, Brian, Cody. All right. So in order for them to even qualify for this to be a qualifying relative in combination, so combined, so A plus B plus C must provide greater than 50% of this person's support. All right. Now, in order for a person to be considered eligible to take the support or the dependency claim from this parent, they must provide at least 10% of this amount, of this group here. So if Alan only provides 9%, he's out. If Brian provides 12%, he's good to go. And then if Cody provides the remainder, I don't feel like doing the math, it's late, he's good to go as well. So the key is over 50%, and each member to be eligible must provide over 10%. And if so, then they are entitled to claim that dependent. Now, the people will have to agree which of the three will get it. Not all three will get it. So in this case, let's just say Cody gets it, and that's how we're going to run that.